That's right. I watched the first episode of the new Reading Rainbow, so you don't have to. Or so you can make your kids start watching. Reading Rainbow was a monumental piece of culture for me as a kid. I still remember in elementary school in the late 90s and early 2000s. We'd watch Reading Rainbow in class and in the library. Us kids, we'd be sitting there watching it saying, hey, wait a second, I recognize that guy from that socialist space opera that my parents watched, except he has goggles. And I'm not sure that one is a space opera. Oh, wait a second. That's Star Wars. You guys think it's funny to get those two confused too? Oh gosh, that's a reenactment of me in elementary school. Just telling Miss Gigi that we simply just poo-poo and pee-peed. As a joke, of course, in the locker. There's shit in the locker. Clean it up, Gigi. Yes, we were terrible back then. But you want to know one of the things that probably saved us? Was stuff like Reading Rainbow. Things with ethics and morality and critical thinking that prevents you from going down a lot of those edgy pathways. Or at least can help. I think it helped me. But, there are some people my age that are terrible human beings. So, didn't help everybody. Can't save everybody. But, I'm saying it helps me. Probably. I think so. I think a lot of culture helped form who I am. So, I think it also probably helps form a lot of other people's values, etc. The new Reading Rainbow is brought to us by Kidzuko, whatever the hell that is. But it's a beautiful thing for this to obviously be free on YouTube. And in the age of internet paywalls and gutting public broadcast, it's a great time for this to be a thing. It's also a great time for this to be a thing because pop culture is suffering, and so is education. And I certainly don't watch kids shows, but I sometimes fear that our kids today maybe don't have that same kind of culture that created the kind of caring people like me or the kind of people that I admire so much. I have seen some Bluey though. It's a good television show. It's genuinely good television. As we enter this age of AI and a lot of useless innovation as well, I think more people need to hear and accept that we peaked in a lot of things. We peaked in entertainment a long time ago. Ultimately, the best entertainment we're ever going to get is something that will just make us feel something and think and teach us something about ourselves and the world around us. So at a certain point, you gotta shut off that innovation valve and say what's better for society. Funding Reading Rainbow and public broadcast for low-income families, or flooding billions of dollars in subsidies to the AI industry to make generative AI, which is making people less informed, more psychotic, less curious, and also just engaging with more degenerate content. Which maybe it's a little cliche, but I am somebody that believes the content that you entertain yourself with and consistently engage with will certainly have an impact on who you are as a person. And if a lot of people are engaging with and normalizing AI content, well, we're just headed to a much dumber society, aren't we? Kind of similar to how society is currently with Fox News as the leader in news. The optimist in me says the pendulum will swing. It always does, first of all. Maybe to the slightest degree and not anywhere near or in the same universe as what I would like to see. We are so far out of whack and to the right at this point that maybe what comes after is a government that is focused far more on human rights. And sure, that may be hopeful, but that somewhat comes from a historical context. But with that being said, let's get to the first episode of Michael the Librarian's Reading Rainbow, which involves a sweet little cat book. Love cats. I'm into it. And I was totally bought in until they started interrogating me about what I had just watched. Like, whoa, excuse me? How did Clarice get into the library? First of all, your tone, totally condescending. What the hell, Michael? It says no cats in the library. If a cat got in, it's not my fault, and you shouldn't be so accusatory. I don't know. I didn't let her in. I don't even like Clarice. But then Eben Moss Backrack shows up out of the blue. Wow. Totally random, but I am back in. I love Fantastic Four. I think they're getting it right at this stage. And I'm not only saying that because Ben Grimm and cats. And also, I'm not gonna lie, a major part of me getting into reading, admittedly, is that jam of an intro. Honestly, if you want me to do something, just play some music.
Butterfly in the sky.
I love music so much.
I can go twice as high.
And the Reading Rainbow intro
Take a look.
is a banger.
It's in a book.
And to this day, love music, love books.
A reading rainbow.
So I would like to compliment them on this nicely sung harmony for the intro. It's modern, it makes sense, I don't have a complaint. And honestly, for some reason going in, I was thinking, gosh, I hope I don't hate the intro. Maybe it's not the OG, but you have to set your nostalgia aside.
So the first room that we have here are where our smaller dogs are.
You went for books.
Not necessarily puppies.
To cats.
Just small dogs.
To puppies.
And then our long room here is where the big...
Also, they're sprinkling in some of those beautiful New York community vibes that I love. The score and the aesthetic is sweet and positive. And kids being involved in learning about animals at the Animal Care Center is really important. I think that that is a very underrated value in caring about nature that so many parents and even the education system, I think, honestly undervalues. And important to show and promote that kind of education in a subtle manner. Also, didn't know reading to cats was a thing. So if this so-called kids show is teaching an adult something, I'm impressed. Michael comes back and his cadence confuses me, but I'm enthralled, and I think he's the man. He's cool as shit, because he's just himself, and I think he's a good person. Just a dude with a unique aura, and he owns it, and I think that rocks. Big fan of Michael the Librarian. I've followed him on Instagram since he first popped off on there, and yeah, no one deserves it more than he does to be host of this show. Truly a beacon of positivity, and again, the perfect person. See you next time. In this role.
The chainsaw for bureaucracy.
As for the first episode, it was actually entertaining and watchable, and well produced, and something that's probably good for kids to watch. But I also want to watch an old episode with LeVar Burton to kind of reference it and compare. Immaculate vibes. It's kind of a react video, and I of course don't remember a lot of the Reading Rainbow that I watched as a kid. So yeah, let's take a nostalgia trip together. Reading Rainbow aired from 1983 to 2006, hosted by the ever-so-talented LeVar Burton. The name of the reference episode I'm going to watch is called Rumpelstiltskin, I mean. Come on, man. How many Scary Movie 3 references are you going to have in your YouTube career? The reason I chose Rumpelstiltskin is it's one of the higher rated episodes on IMDb, which I highly suggest for finding a good episode of something. Like when you don't want to be infuriated by how horrible Obi-Wan Kenobi is, but you do want to see Darth Vader and Obi-Wan duel it off again and just go ham and throw rocks at each other and stuff, which was the best part of the show. Otherwise, it was dog shit. Oh my god, it's LeVar Burton.
Oh, is it?
I don't know why, but I feel like I remember LeVar Burton doing this Gene Parmesan thing a lot with Reading Rainbow, where he's just dressed up as something, and I don't know, where he's just like, it's me! And then that's when all the kids scream like they're Lucille Bluth. I remember going on field trips to medieval times and literally booing the knights for not fighting to the death. Well, I thought we were going to see real knights. No one said they were going to be fake. And maybe I was a little bit of a disturbed child. I don't know. Okay, that's a parrot. I'm not sure that's what you do with that. Furry representation in the late 80s. Man, this show really was ahead of its time. This is a fever dream. What the fuck is going on? I get the impression from comparing the two that LeVar's had a much bigger budget and therefore a nice set and the ability to act more. I think Michael is really capable of that acting part if they, of course, do have, you know, a little bit of flexibility there for him to do so. There are other episodes out, but, you know, I haven't watched them and I probably won't because I'm 33 years old. I've said this in a lot of my videos, and it's a big reason why I made this video. But especially in the last 10 years, we've seen growing culture wars against public broadcast, NPR, and PBS. Both have been defunded and are capable of producing a lot less because their budget is much smaller. It's not a coincidence that Kidzuko, which is operated by Sony Pictures, introduces this new Reading Rainbow when $1.1 billion was just eliminated from public broadcasting funds by piece of Republicans in Congress, led by the culture war director himself, Gas. I don't know how Reading Rainbow is meeting Sony's bottom line, but I'm hoping someday that it just ends up back at PBS and well-funded. It kind of goes without saying, but it's really important that these shows are not blocked by paywalls for low-income families. And in general, the 80s and 90s had a better understanding of how community and entertainment go hand in hand. But also, honestly, music scores were fantastic back then. I think there was a little bit more creativity involved and how they sync up with the shows and movies. One thing you might not know about me is that I've pitched a lot of music in the film industry. And one thing I've learned, the thing I think I've learned the most, is how stiff and corporate things are these days in both the film and music industries. And you had a lot more creativity and flexibility going on back then. I kind of liked a lot of the sounds from the new one, though, the new Reading Rainbow. Also, something I really like about both the old show and the new show.
Does it hurt the sheep?
Oh, nay, not at all. 'Tis like getting a haircut on a hot summer's day.
Is how they throw in these little small aspects of the book to teach the audience about, general things throughout the concept and theme of the book, and obviously using the book overall as this overarching concept throughout the episode. It's actually a good concept. Legit, it's a good show. LeVar spent 10 minutes flirting with that chick, and honestly, hell yeah, bro.
It takes a lot of work to make them.
I feel like the pickle guy is going to show up any second now. Okay, and now we're playing with some kind of... Wait, are they rioting? Is this Antifa? Oh, okay, we're playing a game. A weird game. Alright, everybody, thank you for spinning this rumple with my stilts and my skin. This wasn't my most political video, but it's super important that we stress the importance of access to television and entertainment. We need more of it in this world. Kids are the future. You might watch the movie Logan for that concept, if it wasn't the easiest concept to grasp in the world. Intellectualism and education are threatened by anti-intellectual attempts to defund them from the far right. The right's non-ability to source and research properly will seep into broad society, and it already has. They'll question anything that conflicts with their narrow worldview, even question the very critical thinking found in Reading Rainbow, or reading itself. This kind of entertainment is an important step to combat this in the future, but kids have to have access to it. Long live Reading Rainbow, and God save the Queen.